Are you treating your work, relationships, and your boundaries as opportunities to reflect God's design and purpose for your life? All this and more in this episode of the we're back again with another episode of the Biblical Blueprint. My name is Raymond McDaniel, and I want to thank you. Just start off by thank you for tuning in, watching. And I hope this video blesses you. You know what I'm saying? This is, a series where I am trying to prove and just illustrate to everyone that the Bible is the instruction manual to life. And I want you to I'm going to go chapter by chapter, verse by verse, and explain and show this to you. You know what I'm saying? And me, Raymond McDaniel, I am a business coach, and I'm trying to urge more people to become entrepreneurs. So I'm also going to tie in this on how you can add it to your current business, to your current work, or to your future business. And if you need any type of help with any type of thing business related, feel free to contact me at my website, raymondmcdaniel.life. So let's go ahead and let's get into today's lesson. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to be working out of Genesis chapter 2 today. Once again, I'm going chapter and chapter, verse by verse, and we breaking down the Bible, how it's going to help you with your life, how it's going to help you with your business. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to start off with just chapter 2. Let's go ahead and let's watch chapter 2 of Genesis.
So the earth, the sky, and everything in them were finished. God finished the work he was doing, so on the seventh day he rested from his work. God blessed the seventh day and made it a holy day. He made it special because on that day he rested from all the work he did while creating the world. This is the story about the creation of the sky and the earth. This is what happened when the Lord God made the earth and the sky. This was before there were plants on the earth. Nothing was growing in the fields because the Lord God had not yet made it rain on the earth, and there was no one to care for the plants. So water came up from the earth and spread over the ground. Then the Lord God took dust from the ground and made a man. He breathed the breath of life into the man's nose, and the man became a living thing. Then the Lord God planted a garden in the east in a place named Eden. He put the man he made in that garden. Then the Lord God caused all the beautiful trees that were good for food to grow in the garden. In the middle of the garden, he put the tree of life and the tree that gives knowledge about good and evil. A river flowed from Eden and watered the garden. The river then separated and became 4 smaller rivers. The name of the first river was Pishon. This river flowed around the entire country of Havilah. There is gold in that country, and that gold is pure. A kind of expensive perfume and onyx are also found there. The name of the second river was Gihon. This river flowed around the whole land of Cush. The name of the third river was Tigris. This river flowed east of Assyria. The fourth river was the Euphrates. The Lord God put the man in the Garden of Eden to work the soil and take care of the garden. The Lord God gave him this command: "You may eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree that gives knowledge about good and evil. If you eat fruit from that tree, on that day you will certainly die." Then the Lord God said, "I see that it is not good for the man to be alone. I will make the companion he needs, one just right for him." The Lord God used dust from the ground and made every animal in the fields and every bird in the air. He brought all these animals to the man, and the man gave them all a name. The man gave names to all the tame animals, to all the birds in the air, and to all the wild animals. He saw many animals and birds, but he could not find a companion that was right for him. So the Lord God caused the man to sleep very deeply. While he was asleep, God took one of the ribs from the man's body. Then he closed the man's skin where the rib had been. The Lord God used the rib from the man to make a woman. Then he brought the woman to the man, and the man said, "Finally, one like me with bones from my bones and a body from my body. She was taken out of a man, so I will call her woman. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife. In this way 2 people become one. The man and his wife were naked, but they were not ashamed."
All right. Now, just to break down chapter 2 of Genesis, pretty much this is just, you know what I'm saying, going more into detail of God creating humans. You know what I'm saying? How He created humans, and the purpose of why humans were created. Um, you may have other theories on how humans are created or how they're designed. You know what I'm saying? I truly believe in this, that we were created. It wasn't no Big Bang. Or if there was a Big Bang, there was a design behind this Big Bang. You know what I'm saying? And with that design, it shows that we have a purpose, we have a calling, and we have things that we need to do. Nobody's supposed to be just in life wandering, just mindless, pretty much, with no cause or no purpose. And a lot of times, people do get manipulated into the wrong cause or wrong purposes. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here to help you align yourself with the correct cause and purpose. And like I said, the Bible is the ultimate way to do this. One of the things that we talk about boundaries, because God gives the first rule within the Bible. He tells them what not to eat. You know what I'm saying? He tells them not to eat of this particular tree. You know what I'm saying? You can have all these trees that I created, but don't eat of that one. And it's a really, 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 really great sign of course, how to set a boundary, and you seeing where eventually y'all know this story. We see what's gonna happen after he breaks that boundary. But another great thing about this, you know, he not only creates man, but he creates woman, and you see the power and just the purpose of the design of God creating man and woman, and what they're here and what they're designed for. And like I said, we're here to be fruitful, multiply, and with being fruitful and multiplying, it's just creating more and more people and great people on this earth, great designers, great leaders, great helpers, you know what I'm saying? Great cooks, great everything on this earth. And we're just establishing that within this chapter. You know what I'm saying? There's several themes inside of this. You know, of course, this talks about the intimate creation that, well, the intimate relationship, I'm sorry, that God has with man. You're seeing that, you know what I'm saying? We're one of his greatest creation. Of course, he made the heavens and the earth, but you're seeing the intimacy of how he created us. You know what I'm saying? And why he created us. And then, you know, like he pretty much made us in his image. You know what I'm saying? We're in the image of God. Every man, woman, and child are made in his image, and you're just seeing that there's intimacy involved in that. You know what I'm saying? We're also breaking down that work is a sign of worship. Um, you know, tending to the garden, which is, you know, just tending to the things that God created. That is the overall purpose of man. We have to look at this whole world as a garden, as the garden, and we have to tend to it, and we have to make it look good. We have to make sure that we're getting the most out of it, making sure that everything is just operating at its maximum potential. And you know, I think we kind of stray away from that as a society. You know, we have a lot of things where we're kind of killing the planet. You know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to make sure that the planet continues to actually grow and flourish. That should be our goal. You know, I talked about it just a second ago in the summary, but one of the big things in it is we've established the first boundary in just history, pretty much, and seeing what happens when you're being obedient and what happens when you're being disobedient. You know what I'm saying? What happens when you respect the boundary and what happens when you cross that boundary. I was watching a video today where um, you know, certain people who believe in Satan or believe in the devil believe that he is like a liberator. If we were never, you know, corrupted in the Garden of Eden, we would have never been able to find out that we are God's and we're in God's image. Whereas like I think the contrary. We already knew that we was in God's image and we were living as close to God as ever during this period. But when you become disobedient, you move further and further away from being God. You know what I'm saying? I think you already look at it. It's like the devil is the furthest away from being God. It's the anti-God. It's the anti-Christ. It's the anti-everything, and it's something that you shouldn't even really believe in, but people do. But we're not going to talk about the bad. We're just going to talk about the good into it, because one of also the great things that we establish in this chapter is the power of companionship and the unity of marriage. Man and woman coming together as one. That's always a beautiful thing if you have love in your life. You know what I'm saying? It's always like a joy, especially once you have kids and everything, like in that realm, building a family. It just shows you like the power of God, and shows you that you were designed, and you like how we were designed and how we were put here on this earth to be fruitful and to multiply and to have these beautiful families and to have these beautiful lives and build these relationships and build these lives with other people. You know what I'm saying? It's just an amazing thing when I really think about my love life and how everything is just starting to flourish and everything is starting to happen for me. And I hope it's all happening for you, Um, one of the big teaching points in this whole entire message is that God isn't distant. He's always personal with you. One of the things I want to just stress in this message is that with God, He is just one bowed head away, pretty much. You don't have to pick up the phone and call Him. Sometimes you don't even have to go and just hop on your knees. It's just really about just recognizing that there is God and just contacting Him. He's always there for you. I know it's always, that's the first thing. Anytime I'm having a problem or anytime I'm thinking about something, I just think to myself, God, what should I do? And it's all, I'm telling you, anytime you acknowledge Him, that's better than a phone call. That's better than an email. Just the acknowledgement is always going to put you in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? And then it helps you out with your purpose. If you believe in God and you believe that God has a purpose for you, He will lead you to that purpose. So the goal with it is just always just acknowledging your purpose, and then acknowledging that God has created a purpose for you and letting Him lead you to that purpose. And I feel like I've been led to this purpose because that's why I've started to create these videos. That is why I've been a business coach for a while and working as a consultant, a designer for people. And now I put this together where I feel like I'm walking more into my purpose because I want to help more people become entrepreneurs and live their purpose life and actually share their messages just like I'm sharing my messages. You know, one of the things I really am really passionate about is taking these videos and of course breaking it down into a life perspective, but also tying it into business, because at the end of the day I feel like we need more entrepreneurs. We need more believers entrepreneurs, and that's my goal, to create more believers entre- believers that are entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? There's too many evil entrepreneurs out there. You know what I'm saying? It feels like they've tricked us into this. Oh, God. What is the term? Um, it's hard for a rich man to get into heaven. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's hard because you always get corrupted. People always compromise. People's always crossing those boundaries. And my goal is to help people stay within your boundaries and love being within your boundaries, because it's a great life over on this side. There's nothing wrong with being on over this side. Out over there in the open, yeah, it look kind of fun, but you can have fun over here. You know what I'm saying? And you can stick to your boundaries and stick to your morals and still be successful. One of my business tie-ins I have with this is that work is holy. You know, get up, get to work, tend to your garden, find your garden and tend to it. That's your divine assignment. Your goal should be to find your garden that you're going to be tending to. What you feel like is your purpose, ask God for it. Ask for the purpose. If you feel like you're living in a person's purpose but you're not fully enhancing it, ask Him to help you enhance it. because that's what God's here for. He's help you to live your clear and purpose. You know, one of the things is that boundaries are necessary. I've been having a lot of talks about a lot of, um, I would say, hot topics that are in this world where people constantly compromise themselves. People constantly go against what made them who they are, you know? And once you can always tell when they do it, you know what I'm saying? It's always somebody crossing over and being who they're not. You know, I man, I don't like talking bad about people, and I'm not talking bad about them. But I watched a video about the rapper. His name is NBA YoungBoy, and they had an interview where he talked about how he used to sing in the church choir, and he begged to be an usher and everything. That was something that he was being created to do, and now, he has all these demonic videos, and he has this big tour where it's successful, but it's like, man, I would that's kind of random that you go from church to being this big megastar, and then your prop is you coming out of a casket to sing your rap songs. That's crazy when you really think about it, right? And it's like it just shows like people compromise for success and fame. And in one of the interviews I watched, he talked about all the stuff that he has. He said it doesn't really mean nothing. It's really like a demonic world that we live in. And it was crazy because he's telling you the truth, but he had to get up and get back to doing what he's doing because he can't keep telling you the truth about himself. He's not supposed to do that. He'll lose everything if he told you the real truth. And I think that's what a lot of entertainers in the entertainment industry, but like I digress. Like I said, I don't want to go too deeply on hot topics or anything like that. But that's just something I noticed because it's like something that I'm constantly seeing where people are constantly compromising themselves to do things. And I'm not talking like I'm holy or not. I've compromised before too, and it's gotten to a point where I realized that my compromises have negatively affected me. And now I'm trying to make it to where when I do my business and anything that I do in my future, I have my boundary and I'm not crossing that boundary. We also talk about the beautiful and the power of partnerships. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a man and a wife, or it may be a collaborator. Adam and Eve are the greatest power couple collaborator. Is no Adam without Eve. You feel me? It's just, it is what it is, and you gotta find your Eve or your Adam or whatever partner that you may have that will help you, that will be essential, to your growth. That is your goal. If you want to find a partner, you want to find a powerful partner that help balance you out. You know, what tying this into like business, it once again, it goes back to just the boundaries. Create boundaries in your business. Create things that you wouldn't want to do within your business. Create things that you're just not going to stand for. It and pray about it, because sometimes we might be a little bit off, but always realize that God will direct your path, and He will direct you to the right way, especially if you acknowledge Him. He was never going to lead you to astray. He's never going to lead you to the wrong, and He's never going to lead you off the cliff. That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? There's other people that you can pray to that'll lead you off the cliff. There's several people that'll lead you off the cliff, but God will never lead you off the cliff. And then also view your work as sacred. This is my garden. This is what I am tending to. This is what I'm here to do. And once you have that mindset of my work is sacred, is purposeful, it has more meaning, it is beneficial to society. Once you start realizing that, you're going to want to keep going. You're going to want to make even more content. You're going to want to make more designs. You're going to want to make more products. You're going to want to serve more people. You know what I'm saying? Once you start realizing what is sacred in life to you, what can I do that's going to be beneficial to you, to people? I remember when I had my best time in life is when we had the pandemic, which was a bad time in life, right, for a lot of people. But one of the key phrases that came out that stuck with me was essential workers. I have became an essential worker where I just started doing feeding people. I started cooking more. And once I became that essential worker, I ended up becoming more and more successful in a quicker span of time. I had never built something so quick and so effortlessly during that time. And I'm coming to you doing this because I have to speak as a testimony about it. You know what I'm saying? You can be successful, and you will be successful once you look at your work as sacred and you realize that it's essential and beneficial for society. I'm not going to keep beating your head over with all these talking points, but I do want you to go to RaymondMcDaniel.life and check out my program, The Miracle Blueprint. You know what I'm saying? This is why we're doing the biblical blueprint. The Miracle Blueprint is a is a 40-day program where you're going to do seven daily things, and these 7 daily things are going to help you create a miracle in your life. Whether it's, a financial miracle that you may need, if it's a professional miracle that you may need, a social miracle you need. Maybe you do need to find that partner and you feel like you're just down and out. Maybe your marriage is down. I've been there before where everything was looking down and out. I did this program and everything came back together. That's what I'm here for. This is my work. I am an essential worker for you guys. And I hope that this video was beneficial. Check out RaymondMcDaniel.life. Check out the program, The Miracle Blueprint. And continue to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, man. Thank you so much. I hope to see you again. Bye.